Okay, so next we're going to install the foot pedal and the rod assembly and the cable that connects them to each other. So to do that, we need our toothed tray and we need our fixed tray. We need our rod assembly. We're going to need the spring wire. I've opened up the next pouch of hardware and I've got the cable. One of the cables, I've got 3 of the socket head cap screws that are going to hold the rods together, and I've got one number 10 washer and one of the pedals. Now we're going to need, our 9/16 inch wrench. We're going to need a 1/4 inch Allen wrench. We're also going to need a 5/32 inch Allen wrench. But actually, I have a long 5/32 inch Allen key, which I can use with my hand drill to speed things up. You probably don't have one of those, so you'll need the hand wrench. But anyway, to start, I need to install the cable to the free end of the pedal spring. So one end of the cable has a loop. And let me get my glasses on. I want to thread that onto the hook, like so. And now we want to install the pedal into its mounting hole. And you operate the pedal with your right foot. So the mounting hole is down at the bottom right corner of the leg set. So let me tighten that up with my 1/4 inch Allen wrench and the 9/16 inch box wrench. Tighten that. Okay, so that's not going anywhere. Let me drape this out of the way for now. Now we need our 3/4 inch rod, and we want to feed it through its holes in the legs, like so. And now we need the 1/2 inch rod. The 1/2 inch rod has 3 holes which accept the cap screws, and start with the middle one and just thread that, start threading that cap screw into the tapped holes in the 3/4 inch rod. Now at the far end, the end at the leg that doesn't have the pedal, we want to slip the cap screw through the 1/2 inch rod, but before we install it in the 3/4 inch rod, we want to thread the number 10 washer onto that cap screw. And then we can thread that into the 3/4 inch rod. The purpose of that washer is to offset the fact that the cable is going to be between the rods at this end of the assembly. So that's going to make up for that little bit of a step out of the rod, the 1/2 inch rod. So now that we've done that, we've got all 3 cap screws started. Now we need our spring wire, and we need to feed that through the small hole below the 3/4 inch hole, slip it through and between the rods like so, okay, and then over the center cap screw and back again through the rods, and then on through the small hole in the second leg, just like that. And once we got to that point, we want to slip our toothed tray into place and move it along till it's about right there, halfway along. And once we've done that, we want to center up our rod assembly. I want equal space at the ends of the 1/2 inch rod, and I want equal amounts, roughly equal, we don't have to get crazy, but an equal amount of spring wire protruding from each leg, just like that. And now I'm going to put my pedal cable between the rods at this end, And then I'm going to start to tighten the cap screws, like so. Start with the center one, do the one with the washer next, and then I want the 1/2 inch rod to go into a gullet. A gullet is the area, the low area between the teeth. So we want that to be fully engaged, and I'm going to look at my cable. Now, the cable is not too tight, but there's not a lot of slop in it either. So that's probably a good bet for where that cable needs to be. See, we're putting we need to put the proper amount of tension on that cable. So I'll tighten it up, and I'm going to stand this up so I can check the tension. Okay, the rod is fully engaged into a gullet, and this is certainly not too tight, but it still easily disengages the 1/2 inch rod. But you know what? That's a little bit too much slop. It doesn't really matter, but it bothers me aesthetically. So what I'm going to do is drop this all the way down so the tooth tray is standing on the bench. And in that position, the rod assembly is flipped up and the cap screws are easily accessed. So I'm going to loosen this one, and now I can push that cable in a little bit. Okay, and then I'll retighten. Now, of course, if the cable was too tight and the rod wasn't fully engaged in its gullet, I would have pulled that cable out. But it was too loose. Oh, see, now I got rid of all that slop, and the 1/2 inch rod is still fully engaged. Yep, perfect. That's just what we want. Wonderful. Okay, so I'll do the same thing to the second leg set, and then we will go on to make our mounting blocks.